late-night taco. It's a seasoned and slow-roasted chicken taco that pairs nicely with the new avocado verde salsa at any time. Introducing the new Cantina Chicken Crispy Taco, only at Taco Bell.
It's one fantastic ride. The turbocharged, tech-inspired Kia Forte.
Best 2 out of 3?
Lease a new 2024 Forte LXS for $189 a month.
You made a cow.
Actually, it's a piggy bank. My inspiration to start saving.
How about a more solid way to save?
I'm listening.
Well, BMO helps get your savings habit into shape with a cash reward every month you save.
Cash reward?
And there's a cash bonus when you open a new checking account to get you started.
Wow. Anything you can't do?
Mugs.
BMO.
Back here in Detroit, a friendly reminder that our third day, rounds 4 through 7 coverage to wrap up the 2024 NFL Draft begins tomorrow at noon Eastern time. Jim Harbaugh, this came from the Chargers social media account, which is really second to none. I think this happened after Junior Colson was drafted by the Chargers.
Hail to the victors, valiant, hail to the conquering heroes, hail to Michigan, the leaders and bounds. Hail to the victors, valiant, hail to the conquering heroes, hail to Michigan, the champions of the West. Go Blue.
All right, well done. Here's the Steelers pick. They drafted Roman Wilson about a half hour ago.
With the 98th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Peyton Wilson, linebacker, NC State.
All right, there you have it.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin got an upfront seat to see him at the Senior Bowl and see how athletic and the speed that was there. You see the comparison there, Kiko Alonso, when he was coming out of college. That's who he reminded me of. The eyes are excellent. You think about instincts for off-the-ball linebackers. He can key and fill, and he's a very sure, firm tackler. In coverage, you got to cover to play linebacker in this league. Think about the guy he's going to join in Patrick Queen, how athletic he is. He's going to get a chance to do some of those same things. How about the speed and effort? Look at how fast that is. He ran 4.43, and you see it on the field. Here he is against Drake May, running him down from behind. I mean, we could do a 5-10 minute highlight film. He hit over, 22 miles per hour on this one against Notre Dame. I know Ian talked about the injuries. We've got the injuries, and that's part of the evaluation. But if you're asking me my opinion, you tell me I get 3 years of Peyton Wilson. You can have 8 years of somebody else.
Ian?
Well, DJ, you mentioned it. There are 22 teams who share medical reports. My understanding is all 22 teams view him as a one-contract player. That said, the Steelers have had players with no ACL as he has. They've had Hines Ward, they've had Greg Lloyd. Both have had long careers. The knee is somewhat stable because of how it's scarred, so they believe he's a one-contract player, but no one knows. They're betting on the upside.
Indeed. So what did the Steelers do? I guess they went shopping at the Wilson Bank. Russell, Roman, Peyton.
And don't forget, the records he broke at NC State once were held by Bill Cowher, former head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And by the way, Hines Ward kind of worked out. You know what I mean?
I think it worked out pretty well.
I was just going to say, he didn't need his ACL for the 400 tackles he made at NC State. I mean, my goodness, he can play football.
And Pittsburgh has been trying to get linebacker right for a while.
With the 99th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Rams select Kamren Kinchens, defensive back, Miami.
Yeah, one of the top safeties in this class. Production, 11 picks in just the last 2 years. Jair Brown out of Penn State was the comparison. They ran the identical 40 at the combine, 4.65. He runs 4.55 or lower. You would see him off the board. That was the only knock on him, the only concern. When it comes to safeties, though, if you've got quick eyes, you can make up for a lack of pure speed because you get a jump on the ball, and he sees very clearly. He's quick to trigger downhill. He's excellent as a tackler in the hole. You see him unload right here against Texas A&M, and there's the blitzing from depth, able to get Drake May on the ground. The one negative play he had was in the crazy finish against Georgia Tech. The ball got over his head late in that ball game, but on the whole, this is a very productive, instinctive guy.
I mean, to be fair to him, they shouldn't have been in that situation.
Shouldn't have been in that situation.
Yeah, but one thing, you want a ball hawk in that NFC West, because now you're dealing with Russ. You know, he's going out there to the Los Angeles Rams, San Francisco, and the way they pitch it around, Seattle and all the receivers they throw at you. In NFL football, if you can take away one possession, that could mean the biggest difference in football there, because most games are what in the NFL? One possession games.
He had 11 picks, guys. In the last 25 years, the only Miami players to have 11 double-digit picks. Ed Reed, Sean Taylor.
Pretty good name.
They're pretty good company.
They're pretty good.
I mean, just on the sheer math, I have a problem with this music. We're not halfway there with pick 100. There's 257 picks in the draft, so... I mean, maybe I'm taking this song too literally.
Right between them here.
Rich, but we're not. This draft isn't in New Jersey, to your point. You know
what I'm enjoying?
What are you?
Is that Rich has joined me.
Yeah, he has.
I have.
I'm here for you.
I mean,
this is a team effort.
I mean, the steam has come off of me, and it's enveloped Rich.
Final
and he's
pick
in.
of the night.
Got him.
Final pick of round 3.
With the 100th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Luke McCaffery, wide receiver, Rice.
Adam Peters came from the 49ers, Rich. They had a McCaffrey, so he said, hey, I'm going to go to the Commanders. I'll get another one. That worked out pretty well for his previous team. Luke McCaffery, the converted quarterback, can play inside, can play outside, works well in traffic, and someone who just finds a way to get it done. He finds a way. You saw it in the one-on-ones at the Senior Bowl. You see it here on this video. Very strong hands. He's still continuing to grow and develop as a wide receiver. He's new to it, but you can see the athleticism. The fact that if his background as a quarterback helps him in terms of seeing defenses, being able to read coverages, a really, really good player. I will add, Joel, as we look at the McCaffery family here, as we finish up night number 2, it's nice to be tied with you 3 for second most players drafted on the desk. So I'm just very excited.
Oh, wow. Oh, what a finish.
Don't worry, we'll break that tie this weekend.
That is an incredible finish.
We'll break it this weekend.
I'm enjoying it while I got it, Rich.
You ought to take a team picture right now with the score tie.
Fireworks going off as the final night of the NFL draft in Detroit leads to this fireworks display. It's all in the daytime tomorrow, starting at noon Eastern. Rounds 4 through 7. Another massive crowd here tonight in the football-loving city of Detroit. This is what it felt like in my heart and in my head when 3 Michigan Wolverines went in a row about a half an hour ago.
That's what you did to the desk. What do you mean, in your heart?
Yeah, I was pounding the desk. Hey, brother, great job as always.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for letting me sit in.
You are the man.
This is an absolute pleasure.
Make sure you come back.
DJ, appreciate you guys.
Brother.
Don't worry, Joel. This is TV. We got one more segment to squeeze out of here at NFL Total Access, which is about to start.
There's hail to the
This is a heck of a night. Rounds 2 and 3 in the books. The Lions' share, if you will, figuratively, of the draft is tomorrow. So we will see you at noon. It's a quick turnaround. Get some rest. Total Access is next.
Well, it's abundantly clear. Day 2 of the NFL Draft. It delivered in a big way. Welcome to NFL Total Access. MJD, always looking tight. Chase Daniel, Mike Yam with you. Yesterday, quarterbacks clearly the story. A record 6 off the board in the first 12 picks. He was smiling. The tune changed for our quarterback. A different vibe today. First time since 1994. We didn't get a QB off the board in rounds 2 and 3.
A little top heavy. Yeah, that's all. Like, come on, Spencer Rattler, you're out there. I thought for sure he was going to be drafted today, but he's going to have to wait till tomorrow.
Spencer Rattler, by the way, we did think that his name was going to get called. Once again, we will talk a little bit later about the quarterbacks, not to mention some of our favorite picks. Offense reigned supreme in day number 1, in round number 1. Defense handling business in such a big way today. 37 defensive players taken off of the board, and we had a run of DBs that we haven't seen in about 30
So we're just not going to talk about running backs.
That's what I said. Running backs are off the board.
We're not going to talk about running backs right now?
No,
yes. Come on, let's go.
With him in the saddle, you know we will hit those running backs, not to mention some of those best fits. In fact, a lot of people who thought the best running back was Jonathan Brooks was the first one off the board. Your personal rankings had him 9. You will explain that coming up in just a bit. But more from Detroit on day number 2. Our guys have us covered.
All right, so the fireworks are going off as it's the final night of the 2024 NFL Draft. Obviously, the rounds 4 through 7 will be in the daytime on Saturday. Rich Eisen, Joel Klatt of Fox Sports. This is the send-off we're giving you, by the way.
I appreciate it.
Charles Davis, who will be here on Saturday, and Daniel Jeremiah. Your favorite pick of night 2, which would be?
One of the final ones, Peyton Wilson. He was a top 50 player for me. I believe he would have been a first-round pick if he was healthy. Ian did a great job of laying out for everybody the lack of an ACL, the other injuries he suffered. But as a football player, when you pop on the video and watch him, that's a first-round player the Pittsburgh Steelers just got at the bottom of the 3rd round.
How about Adisa Isaac from Penn State going to Baltimore, going to the Ravens late in the 3rd round? That's like central casting. The exact type of player that they want. Plays with grit, plays with determination, plays with passion, and you can't ignore, Joel, the backstory. With his 3 siblings, all nonverbal, developmental issues, but he is there for them each and every day, as is his mother. He's playing for not just himself, he's playing for a lot of other people.
We talk about fit all the time with quarterbacks and organization and system and coaches. I don't think we give it its due when it's something like this. Adisa Isaac with Baltimore, it's like, oh, okay, that absolutely fits his style, everything he does. I really love the Marshawn Lloyd pick for the Packers in the 3rd round. Partly because, yes, I love Marshawn Lloyd, and there's plenty of that. He averaged over 7 yards per carry, by the way. Probably should have gotten the rock a lot more. Only had, I think, 116 carries last year for USC. And then also, it was partly that, and also, they get it right behind the Cowboys, who have a glaring running back need. The Cowboys pass, don't take Marshawn Lloyd, and then bang, in the NFC, there's Lloyd, pops up for the Green Bay Packers. I like that selection.
So who you're looking forward to seeing on Saturday?
Well, we saw these 6 quarterbacks run off the board in the first 12 picks. Haven't seen one since. Spencer Rattler's next up, so we'll see if he comes off the board here once we get to tomorrow. That 4th round hits. Also, not many tight ends have gone. So there are some tight ends out there, and there are, as you mentioned, Joel, the Cowboys didn't get a running back. There are some other interesting names at that position. So those will be heavily loaded tomorrow in the draft.
I know I didn't give my favorite player that was taken on Friday night. But Joel, does this song sound familiar to you?
It does.
Have you heard this in the state of Michigan?
I hear it every time. What is it, right in the middle of the 3rd quarter, is it?
It's usually when things begin to get hot in the big house. You know what I'm saying?
Is your favorite pick maybe Blake Corum?
It is. Blake Corum is one of my favorite players I've ever seen wear a Michigan uniform. And you know his story, obviously, last year, not this past season, but the year before it. He had a Heisman Trophy season all teed up going into the Illinois game, which was right before the Ohio State finale in the horseshoe, and he blew his knee out.
Yeah.
And he tried to go for it in that Ohio State game, but obviously his knee was blown out. His season was over. Michigan got blown out by TCU, quite frankly, and then decided to follow what is in that locker room. Those who stay will be champions, and 100% personified that for the University of Michigan throughout, and obviously so many other great players throughout this national championship run. But he deserves it. He deserves to get a spot in Sean McVay's offense, for crying out loud, in Los Angeles, California. So I obviously love that.
Yeah, a lot of Michigan Wolverines. Maybe him and Junior Colson can share a place, one for the Rams and one for the Chargers.
They could do that. So who do you think would do well by taking Spencer Rattler on Saturday?
Well, you still have Vegas out there. I mean, Vegas has a quarterback need, and I could see Spencer Rattler there. Listen, he's got a really talented arm. I go back to what I was saying all the way at the beginning of the night, guys. If you go back to his redshirt freshman season at OU, he was going to be, the odds-on favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. He was the odds-on favorite to be the #1 player in the draft. Not just player pick in the draft. And it didn't go his way. Caleb Williams ends up basically beating him out in the middle of the year with that 4th-and-1 run against Oklahoma. Against Texas. Spencer Rattler has to transfer. He had to grow up. There's no doubt about that. But if he can go to the right spot, and maybe it's Vegas, he's a guy that can play in this league.
Yeah, don't forget New Orleans did some work on trying to go up into the top 10 to get a quarterback, all right? Derek Carr's there. He's been there. He's going to be their guy right now. But if you're talking about getting someone behind him for an opportunity, Spencer Rattler could fit that bill right there. And I want to go back to your running backs because there are a ton of guys. Yeah. They're going to come off the board. We haven't even talked about Ray Davis from Kentucky. Yes. A phenomenal story. 1,000-yard rusher, 3 different schools. Will Shipley, tremendous production at Clemson. Jalen Wright at Tennessee, who averaged over 7 yards a carry himself. But I'm looking at a big back in Braylon Allen at Wisconsin because big backs are flourishing in the NFL now. If you want to get smaller on defense, let that big back go. The top 10 rushers in the NFL, traditionally the last 3 to 5 years, 220 pounds or bigger. That's what we're getting now with the big guys.
You remember when you're a kid and there was magicians and they'd pull the handkerchief out and just kept going?
It just kept coming?
Kept going. That's wide receivers. It doesn't matter how many you pull out of your pocket. There's still more, and there'll be more tomorrow.
Hey, thanks for
I appreciate it.
Thanks for being you, Joel. Once again, awesome to have you. We're back at it.
Always a pleasure.
Man, buddy. Make sure you come back now.
We're sending Joel Klatt back to Fox.
Don't leave, and that's it.
And you could say that to our fan base as well. We got a whole day on Saturday. Stump the truck.
Stump the truck.
And then let's try and raise money for St. Jude on Saturday as well for Run Rich Run at the Rose Bowl with some special guests on that front.
You got 5'9" in you?
Stay tuned tomorrow. And then next year. That's a hint.
Hey, the dogs, before you go to bed tonight,
that's right.
Empty that bladder. That's all I ask.
That's sending things back to NFL Total Access in Los Angeles.
Stump the truck, always one of our favorite staples. By the way, we just heard Charles Davis talk about some of those running backs. Trust me, we got plenty of coverage with MJD a little bit later, not to mention some love for the wide receivers and who won the draft. Still looming here on this edition of NFL Total Access, but your favorite pick is who?
Yeah, I have to go with the Philadelphia Eagles and getting Cooper DeJean early in the draft.
I like it.
You had a need. You gave up 35 touchdowns last year, passing touchdowns. You went and got Cooper DeJean, who I thought was a top 15 pick, right? I thought the way he played, the ball skills, the return ability, the coverage skills, the tackling, he does everything. He can play inside, he can play outside. Was voted best defensive player in the Big Ten, best returner in the Big Ten. And every time he touched the ball, it seemed like he was scoring touchdowns. Now, granted, you know, I wake up late on Saturdays, guys. Let me just tell you. So when I was watching, when I'd catch him playing, it'd be 3-3 in the fourth quarter. Yeah, not tomorrow. But he would have touchdowns. Like he was like punt return or something big would happen. To me, the Eagles knocked us out of the park. And then obviously, let's just be honest. I mean, come on. Look at that.
That's not bad, man. Like, right hand flush?
Right? It's easy.
360?
Like, you have a big-time athlete right there, and I love the confidence that he's going to show. The Eagles got a great pick there.
Second most passing yards allowed, second most passing touchdowns allowed. The Eagles saw a need. Not only do they get Cooper, but in round number 1, also addressing the corner with Quinyon Mitchell. So once again, they had a problem. They're addressing that problem. But look. Picks happen. There was a lot of them. We're going to finish this thing with 257 when it's all said and done. The one happened to happen early today.
The second pick.
This dude was going nuts. You were so excited.
Lad McConkey. Chargers, like, this is without a doubt my favorite draft pick of the night because the Chargers, you talk about need, they addressed the need. They lost Keenan Allen. Like, I truly believe that Lad McConkey in this Chargers offense with Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh, he can have 100 catches. He's got 4.39 speed. He's going to own the middle of the field.
You love that 100 catches.
I promise you, like, he steps into this offense and outside of Palmer and Johnson, like, he could easily be the #1 by the middle of the year. Like, he's got that type of speed to go inside. He goes outside. He's got the unique ability to uncover, especially in a slot. And that, to me, is what makes him a really viable weapon for this offense. You lose a Keenan Allen, who I played with for 2 years, the best guy I've ever seen in the slot. And then you replace him with Lad McConkey. I was fired up. We were talking about in the green room from the second pick. I'm like, this is my favorite pick of the draft, without a doubt. There's no questions about it. Justin Herbert needed a receiver 1. He has the ability to be a receiver 1 for the Los Angeles Chargers.
No Keenan Allen, no Mike Williams, no Austin Eckler. You say 100 catches. He was saying it for about 3 hours.
I just want to know the last time Jim Harbaugh had a receiver with 100 catches. That's all I want to know. But
Ooh. He was not having any of that.
Yeah, stump the truck.
By the way, speaking of some of these offensive guys, last night, obviously, offense was the center of attention. Defense, though, got to represent on day number 2. We're going to take you through the selections that should have fan bases absolutely giddy. It was a tremendous round 2 and 3 of the NFL Draft.
Let's go, Detroit. Okay, you ready for round 2? Feels good. Go blue, all day, baby. Guess I'm lucky. Some of us don't get a second chance. But I ain't blowing this one. Nah, man. And I feel like I can do anything now. There's a storm coming that the weatherman couldn't predict. I start to bump. You better flee, cause I get ticked. It's a wrap. I was down. When I was down, I was kicked. I got up. I'm back to punch it to the ground. You trick. It's a trap. Dallas sucks all day. So you can hate him. He don't blame you. Frankly, he would too. This game could ill afford to lose him. How about you? Now, what's his name? Lad McConkey. Jadon. Newton. Cooper DeJean. Kool-Aid McKinstry. Jackson Howard Johnson. Thank you, Detroit.
NFL Total Access is brought to you by Toro. Count on it.
The future is here. We've been creating it for more than 100 years. From the most advanced technology to the broadest, most reliable network.